Hey everyone, Vanessa Bartlett here with you today, and I have Leon from Back Intelligence here with us, and we're going to give you some really great information on perfect posture, how to achieve that, and how to stay out of back pain. Welcome today, Leon.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
This is great. So posture is a big thing. It affects all of us at some point, especially working from home, a lot of people the last couple of years as well. Tell us what actually causes poor posture to start with?
Yeah, so there's many causes to poor posture, Vanessa. So I'll just kind of highlight some of the main ones so people can get an idea. Um, Probably the biggest reason for people's poor posture is just sitting for too long, just generally sitting for too long in one position, and especially sitting in poor posture. So that's probably the biggest thing. If you're not using a lumbar cushion support or something to prop up your low back, because we all have a little arch in our low back that we need to maintain. If you're not doing that, you're most likely going to get rounded over time, and you're going to get into this hunched posture with the forward head if you're not having some of that support in your low back. So that's one of the biggest ones. The other thing is that everything is in front of us, just like our lifestyle. We're looking at our phones constantly with our necks like this. The wheel in the car is in front of us, so the shoulders come forward. So we're constantly like reading, picking things up in front of us, and unless we're mindful of our posture and we're practicing the correct technique for picking things up, lowering down, hip hinging. That's one of the techniques we teach,
right?
And stuff like that. Then you are going to develop certain habits that further your poor posture. So you're gonna have to basically be very active at counterbalancing the things you do every single day, because again, things are so much in front of us. So yeah, all the device using, especially these days with the iPhones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So over time, what happens is you get certain muscles that get short over time, or we say overactive, and then other muscles become underactive or weak. So we call that a muscle imbalance. And so that's ultimately what causes poor posture.
Right. And so what muscles are affected? Because I know a lot of even my clients and yours as well may come to us and say, look, I've got back pain. I know my posture's not great. What are the main muscles here? If we're talking about desk work, is it the upper back or the lower back muscles that are getting maybe too stretched out or weak? What's a couple of key muscles here that do get affected?
Yeah, I mean, poor posture could be in the upper part of the body as well as in the lower part of the body. So in the upper body, so before I talk about the muscles, just quickly about like the posture dysfunctions. The upper body is like the common rounded shoulders and forward head posture. Those are the two main problems. So rounded shoulders going this way, and then the neck jutting forward and down. That's the other. Those are the most popular dysfunctions. In the lower body, the most popular dysfunction is anterior pelvic tilt, or I should say excessive anterior pelvic tilt.
Yes.
That's when the low back is overly arched. So I'll try to show that as well. So
Yeah.
like this, like
right.
So it's like, so yeah, everything is sticking out because we all have anterior pelvic tilt, which is normal, but it's when it's excessive is when it becomes a problem. So, so for the lower part, obviously the core is, and you're very familiar with that. And I know you teach people how to strengthen their core. So that's a very common area you need to work on strengthening to kind of fix that anterior pelvic tilt. In the upper part of the body, you've got the deep neck flexor muscles here in the front, which is kind of like your core of the neck. And so you want to strengthen that in order to bring your head back. In the back, you've got the levator scapular muscle, which basically runs from your neck to the scapula, to your shoulder blade. That's a common muscle that gets overactive and needs to be stretched out or released. So people experience a lot of pain here in the back of the neck.
Right.
The pec minor is another muscle. It's another small chest muscle here that gets tight on most people.
And I wanted to ask you as well, let's clarify for people right now an anterior and a posterior tilt of the pelvis. So if I stand up, this is if it's going like that. Now the problem is, what do you see with people? Are they too much like this or too much like that?
More like that.
Yeah,
so
and that's from the sitting and everything, right?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. When people are just standing and going about their daily life,
yeah,
I would say they're more in the anterior pelvic tilt, where their butt's sticking out and their belly's out.
So that's like standing like that excessively, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Or picking things up, or even people who work out at the gym, I see a lot of that. Now, but people who are sitting without an understanding of their posture, they get into posterior pelvic tilt a lot. So they round out their back because of exactly. So that's a very common thing, especially if they're not using a lumbar cushion support, especially if they don't have any knowledge of ergonomics. So both are present and both are problematic for various reasons. Yeah.
Right. What can people do then, I suppose, day to day to help with these issues?
Right now, I'll give you 3 exercises for like the upper back and neck area that people can do at home. These are simple, and so the first one is just a simple chin tuck exercise. A lot of people know that you basically have your head here, and then you're gonna bring it back, so you tuck it in and kind of create a double chin effect. And you can do it with hold, so you can bring it back and kind of hold it, or you can just do continuous reps like this.
Yeah.
The key when you bring it back is not to look up or anything like that.
Right.
You want to actually tuck it, right? And if you're doing it right, you should feel some packing in the front of the neck right here, as well as some stretching in the back here. It's going to strengthen the deep flexor muscles here that are weak. And then these muscles here, they're going to get stretched out a little bit. And the great thing about the chin tucks is you can do it at your desk multiple times a day. You can also use resistant bands for it, but I guess we covered a lot of variations in our course, as well as on our YouTube channel, of how to do chin tucks. You can do them at a wall, you can do them with resistant bands, stuff like that. But let me show. The other one is a stretch for the levatoscapular muscle that I talked about earlier. It's a neck muscle that goes from the neck to the shoulder blade. So the way to stretch that specific muscle, that one causes a lot of trigger points for people, is to you basically turn your neck, and then you're going to, I bring my hand behind my head, and then, so you kind of want to look at your armpit kind of thing, or your pocket, and then you're going to bring the head all the way down, and you should feel it over here on the opposite side, because that's a muscle that tends to be overactive for a lot of people. And then the last exercise, I'll get up for this one, is just a simple shoulder mobility exercise with the bands that people can do. Sometimes people do it with a stick or a broom, but it's like, why use such a stiff thing? So I just show it with the band. Yeah, so like this.
Great.
Hopefully you can
love
see it.
this. Yep. So I'll just move my chair out of the way too. This is great. I often do this at the end of a lot of my videos as well, after our routines, because it's such a good pec and pec stretch as well, and shoulder mobility, isn't it? Just amazing.
Exactly.
Feels great.
Yeah, exactly. It's great just for opening up and again reversing what we do all day.
That's fantastic.
Those are 3.
That's great. And so if people don't have a band, they can do it with something a bit more rigid, like you mentioned, just in case they, whatever's laying around at home. So in terms of, how someone goes about fixing their posture, what do you think is the first couple of things a person should do?
Before even the exercise portion, I would say there's two things. Awareness in everyday life of your posture and how you're holding yourself and how you're picking things up, and your position of the body in space. And then the second thing is ergonomics. Those would be the first two things I would do before even the exercise. So ergonomics is huge. So just placing your laptop higher so that you can, so you don't have to do this. Levitating your laptop on some books, it can be enough. And then getting a lumbar cushion support so that your spine is at a neutral position. I would start with those things first, and then you want to move on to the exercise and stretching portion, which, it's not as simple as only lower back or only upper back. Kind of need both. Each person is different in the sense that one person might have really bad upper back posture, so they might need to spend more time on that. And another person could have a lot of low back pain or a lot of dysfunction in their low back, so they probably will need to focus on that. But I would say most people could probably use both. And so you need to gain shoulder mobility, you need to strengthen the neck muscles, you need to strengthen your core and glutes, so you cover all bases.
This is so good, because really all of us need to keep doing upper back, core and glutes and neck work as maintenance every week, in our lifestyle, no matter what age, right? And no matter what fitness level. This is like a baseline thing to allow better movement quality in exercise, and better movement quality with the fun stuff in life, everything else too, right?
Yeah, exactly. I like what you said there about maintenance, because there's a lot of people that ask me, how long does it take to fix my posture? And I'm like, it's an indefinite thing. It's like asking, how long do I have to meditate to? No matter how good you are, you're still gonna be prone to poor posture. I would say if you should think of it more like maintenance, like an everyday thing that you are working towards. But it does become more of a habit over time when you practice certain habits, when you stretch certain muscles and stuff, and when you move differently, it does stick over time. So that's good.
Great. Well, this is fantastic. We're going to have a couple more chats together in the very near future, so I'm really excited to have those with you, Leon. Thanks for your time today. Now, what's your website, and tell everyone where they can reach you as well to connect? Yeah,
sure. So the best way to find out everything about us is just to go to our website at backintelligence.com. We're also on YouTube. We have a huge following on YouTube, where we give away most of the stuff for free. We talk about posture, back pain, specifically spine health, all kinds of exercises and ergonomics and things that we've discussed here today. And for those of you who want to go further, we do have a couple of premium courses that we open enrollment to a few times a year.
Thank you so much for your time today, and I'll be speaking with you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, Vanessa.
Welcome.